The hell you talking about, boy? Yes, I hear whatever is going on in your background. Yes. Damn, am I tired? Or is it because I'm looking low? Let me do this. That's unfortunate that I look so low. No, because I'm looking at the screen like head on straight, and it looks like I'm tired because of how, you know. I actually didn't do any of that today. The entire It's not that serious, guy. You make it seem like I'm some dope head or some shit like that. Come on, guys. Don't disrespect me. Nothing. It's not important. Boss is here. Chill, be cool. You know when. Fucking goodness. Hello. Don't say that. Hold on. Um, Jesse said she can hear us right now. She just called me just now. And she told me the exact conversation of everything we just said. Good job, Key. Uh-huh. Only me. Oh, Key trying to set me up now. Nice.
Mm. Hey.
You don't care.
Hello. I'm echoing though. Why can I hear myself? Is that? Oh, never mind. I think it's the stream.
He
can hear us again.
He hears us again. Oh yeah, I hear B. He always trying to touch something and then he go and break it. It's crazy.
Everything is broken.
Everything is broken.
Well, we got to get it right.
Now I only hear me and
He said he can't hear. Gotcha. Oh, that's crazy.
oh, whatever you did, undo it.
Well, let's just go. Let's just go live.
We're going live and they can't hear you.
You wasn't just listening to me. This is the problem.
Exactly, because I can't
now
hear
they can hear.
I told you the problem with this relationship because you do not listen to me. I just said you didn't hear what I said. So you know what? You don't deserve to know what I said because you don't listen to me.
No, that's fine. It's been recorded anyway, so I'll just go back and listen to it at that time.
Yeah, that's what you should do because you're a habitual non-listener.
But
habitual.
You know what? No, I'm not going to out you right here because this isn't the forum for that. I'm not going to do it.
Non-listening to
I'm going to be the bigger person here. Yo, B, get him, please.
I'm not getting nobody. Said Reese echoed really hard for some reason.
Reese did?
Y'all act like a married couple.
Oh,
wow. Oh, I mean,
is it better now?
Is it better? Is it getting
better? We are echoing. Me and Reese are echoing for some reason.
Sick.
Give us a few minutes. Now it's worse. Crazy sound effects coming from.
Okay, how about now? I think that might have fixed it. I think I know exactly what happened. Ish. Well, I know what happened. I just don't know how it happened. But
Are we good, folks? Are we good? Hey, yo, Reese, can you
guys
talk?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Fine, I'll talk to see if it's working.
I think we good. I think we good.
We may or may not be good.
The Twitch app. I don't know. That thing's janky. It's really janky.
That music app?
The music app.
No, it's beta. It's real janky.
Oh, it's beta.
It's
right.
in beta.
I forgot about that.
You shouldn't be using any beta project.
Excuse me?
Beta.
Oh, what did you call that?
Beta.
It's a beta project. It's in beta.
Beta.
Oh.
It was good. It was like, I don't know. In my head, it was a solid idea. It was great.
In your head is a very dangerous place.
It's the execute. My head is a safe zone. It's a safe space for all parties.
You risk getting lost in there due to forgetfulness.
My head, this is true, but that doesn't mean it's not safe. You just need to leave breadcrumbs.
You know what? You might be right. It might be safe because if I tell you a secret, you just need to leave breadcrumbs
because
I can't. Oh, I got my new screen set up. Nice.
Real talk. You just gotta leave some breadcrumbs.
Set up some breadcrumbs. This is wild.
Oh man.
Well, that was a rather interesting beginning of the episode. What you said?
Yeah. You know what else is also interesting about the beginning of this episode? I literally just ate. I really wanted a slice of sweet potato pie. So I had to have a slice of sweet potato pie.
And you had Chinese food, right?
I also did indulge in a little bit of Chinese food.
Okay, define a wee bit because it sounds like you may have indulged in at least half of a plate.
You know, Sarku Japan, and you order the extra chicken.
Yeah.
An
entire of those.
Just a wee bit of that.
A wee bit.
Yeah.
That sounds like
I mean, yeah, I ate the whole thing. But
listen, I'm not. Listen, live your life. That's all I'm saying. Because you clearly don't listen to me.
No. You clearly don't listen to me. You habitual non-listening to me. That's what you
as
are.
a full,
You habitual non-listening to me.
That's what
as
you
a
are.
full bipartisan person in this. There is often times where y'all just straight don't listen. Y'all just like, I'm like, yo, do you not hear him talk?
Because he be spouting this foolishness. And I told him I'm not going to out him, so I'm not going to do it.
I'm usually the liaison between these two. Usually. Sometimes I get turned up too. But usually I be like, I think what he's trying to say is.
Always got to do that to keep. Because, you know, I be going over his head sometimes, I guess. That's what it is.
I'm the cool, level-headed one here. That's the problem. If you wasn't such a habitual non-listener to me, we wouldn't have none of this problem.
Am I correct in assuming that you are inviting people to our place of discussion to intentionally argue with them? Because you don't listen to them?
Listen. One time somebody said something wild on Twitter, and instead of having a Twitter beef, I was like, hey, let's invite a new member to the group so we can have a proper discussion about why you were wrong. And that's all that I was trying to do.
Yo,
can y'all throw in a prayer for me too? Because it's getting crazy over there.
I was just sometimes you just have to let an individual know when they have a wrong opinion. That's all. It's not that big of a deal. I don't think it is, at least.
Yeah, Key's one of those main people. Oh no, it's just an opinion, but it's wrong.
It is in my full belief that everybody is entitled to their own wrong opinion.
That's crazy.
We got to go. We have to move.
That's crazy.
This is getting out of hand, man. And let it be known, this episode is quite potentially jam-packed.
Potentially. No, this
we've been on a roll recently. We've been on a roll recently.
Most indubitably jam-packed.
This one right here,
I will fully say that last week's episode is probably my favorite episode so far.
Last week?
Last week's episode was fire. Like, listen to it twice. I usually don't do that. I listened to it twice. I was like, okay, I might subscribe. Like,
these guys, they know what they're talking about. I might listen to them.
Yeah, I was. It was a little pat on the back moment. I was like, we've gotten better from episode 1 to now. So,
notifications for these guys? Sure, enable those.
It was pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
Because I don't enable notifications for any app, man. You do it once, they'll annoy you for the rest of the day.
I've got them on a couple of things. Well, like,
because they want to send you notifications. They want to text you. They want to send you emails. They want to give you pop-ups in their apps. Like, you're asking.
Wait. What do we? You're getting text messages from individuals? What?
You don't get text messages from certain apps?
No. How do you get how do they even get your? You give your no?
Listen. Okay.
I'm so flabbergasted. I can't even speak proper Englishes right now. Like, that's just appalling. Why would you do that? I never want any company app, nothing, unless you're doing like the what is it? The two-factor firm confirm thing.
Yeah.
That thing.
2FA?
Or you're like texting me a code, or you're texting me and telling me about like my shipping, my packages coming in the mail. That's it. Those are the only 3 messages I want.
Yeah, this is true. Like, anytime I get like hey, you should check out this, I'd be like, stop. No, stop.
So here's the problem with that. And the message I was referring to was the one I told you about a little while ago. I was getting texts about Call of Duty. And I'm not exactly the biggest Call of Duty fan, but, I don't know how Activision decided that it was appropriate to text me. Probably because I didn't buy the game.
Probably Activision. But buy the next one.
If you stop a single short code message on T-Mobile, unfortunately, they take that as you wanting to stop all short codes from coming to your phone.
Wait, what?
So in the event that you don't notice that you're not getting your 2FA messages from like Amazon or whatever other app that you have security in, that's why.
Huh.
If I tell my phone I don't want any text messages from
app. This applies to both of you two now because you're under T-Mobile. But if you text stop to any of those short call messages, you're stopping them all.
Huh. I don't know if that's happened yet. Because I'm pretty sure I stopped a couple of them, but I still get them. No, but who knows?
I just get the ones that I want from who I want.
Yeah, especially from my bank when someone's trying to use my credit card in Belgium.
Good time. Don't you love those?
Yeah. But are you guys ready to start this thing?
I was just about to ask how y'all day was, but I don't think he cares about my day. So.
Man, I had cheesecake in Saku, Japan. That's how my day was. So with that,
no. That's more like how your day's going.
How my day is going to be. How my night's going to end. Oh boy. Welcome everybody to another episode of Trigger Talk TV, where we talk all things video games and video game related. I am your host, Key, of course, and I'm here with my two wonderful co-hosts, B.
Hey, what's going on, folks?
And Reese.
Yo.
I'm what? Quite the individual.
You wanted to say something mean, but you're trying to be nice in front of all these folk right now.
Don't lie to these folk. That I had in my head to say was that you are quite the individual. That's it.
I don't like you. Why are you so?
Yo, Reese, is that your opinion? Because it's wrong.
See what I mean? My man's throwing
I don't always tell people that they're wrong. Their opinion is wrong. It's just sometimes, most times, their opinion is wrong.
It was just a good opportunity because Reese might not like you, but he loves you.
Listen, 60% of the time it works, 100% of the time, right?
Don't start that, please. Please don't start that, please.
Wait.
Yo, me and Mike got into a whole argument. Can we not do it? Can we just move on?
All right, I'm sorry. I won't do that.
Oh, let's get the ball.
What you got for us? Yeah, what you got for us?
Let's just start this off because
I didn't mean to bring that up. That was about to make me start some violence. No. So we talk a lot on the show about Nintendo and how, their games are, they're like, it's a Nintendo game, it's usually family orientated, or it's not mega violent, or if there's violence, it's very carefully depicted in a cartoonish manner, i.e. Smash Brothers, stuff like that. And the Walt Disney of Nintendo, right? Miyamoto, he has a very strong stance on violence in video games. And before I read any of this stuff, I was like, man, it's okay to have violence and stuff. Like it's not an issue. But because I thought before going into this that he completely rejected violence, and it's actually not the case. So I kind of wanted to dive into his most recent interview with the New Yorker, because they did a deep dive into him. But I'm gonna try and cut out a lot of parts and just focus on the stuff that I think is relevant to violence in video games, especially from Nintendo's standpoint, from their viewpoint.
Okay.
So back in 2006, so before I get into the most recent one from the New Yorker, back in 2006, he did an interview just before the Wii was released on Talk Asia, which is like a CNN program, but obviously overseas. And the question was brought up. There was like, why has Nintendo never had a mature rated game? They don't have one. And his answer to the question was, I think there is a variety of ways to entertain people. Nintendo has many ways of entertaining people without the use of violent expression. So I don't have to worry in making such games. And he said, my personal thought is, I think that it's the same with Nintendo, that before thinking about how to handle violence in video games, I think it is important to think about the pain that people feel. For example, you would not laugh at people with disabilities. And I guess there's a bullying problem in Japan. So he said, looking at the overall picture, it is important to understand and feel the pain that people might have, he added. we make our games based on that philosophy, using means other than violence. But we also have to take a careful approach, even in the circumstances when we are not portraying direct violence. I think it is important to give children a product with a careful approach. When I read that, I accidentally found this article looking for another article. And in reading that, I started to get a grasp of where he was coming from and how it's like, it's okay for other companies to do that. It's totally fine. He doesn't have any problem with that. And we'll get into a little bit more about that when he did his interview with the New Yorker last week. But yeah, I really don't have any issue with his approach to making games. Now, for those of you who don't know who Miyamoto is, he's responsible for Pikmin, Star Fox, Donkey Kong,
Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, anything
Zelda.
you played in your childhood, essentially.
Yeah, he's responsible for some of the biggest titles you've ever played ever. He's usually the creator and or the creator, producer, design manager, artist. Like he's
typically at the helm.
Yeah, he's at the helm and he's very, very, very hands-on. So in reading that, I even got more excited to see the interview with the New Yorker. So let's move over to that portion of their whole thing. So it was a couple of years ago, and it's been floating around for years. There's a story that's been floating around for years about Miyamoto surrounding Nintendo 64's GoldenEye. And what happened is there's a story that's like been widely shared, and it's about GoldenEye. So when he first tested the game, he actually expressed a sadness at the people that Bond had to kill in the game, like the amount of people that Bond had to shoot down. And he suggested to the team that during the end credits, that the player could make a visit to the hospital of some of the victims in the bed as a sweet story to kind of end the game in kind of like a meaningful way. And so they asked him about it. Like they asked him about that story because it's been circling around for years. And his answer to that question was pretty cool. So his answer to the question was, I think humans are wired to experience joy, throw a ball and hit a target. For example, that's human nature. But when it comes to video games, I have some resistance to focusing on this single source of pleasure. As human beings, we have many ways to experience fun. Ideally, game designers would explore those in other ways. I think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessarily bad that there are studios that he said, but it's not ideal to have everyone doing it just because that kind of game sells. It would be great if developers find new ways to enjoy in their players. Beyond that, I also resist the idea that to simply just kill all monsters. Even monsters have a motive and a reason for why they are the way they are. It is something that I have thought a lot about. He's like, say you have a scene in which a battleship sinks. He's like, when you look at it from the outside, it seems like victory in battle. He's like, but a filmmaker or writer might shift the perspective to the people on the ship to enable the viewer to see close up the human impact of the action. So he's basically saying that he's cool with violence being in video games. It's just there should be more about. So how I interpreted that was games more like where there's
more like what?
Like The Last of Us 2, where there's a violent event that happens, but there's enough story and understanding around it, understand why you feel the pain of both characters and what they went through related to that violence. I think that's why I like story.
Yeah, but like he was talking about James Bond, right?
Yeah,
which is, it's about a story. It's majority an action flick, but it's a story about what I want to say private eye, but what is he? He's not an assassin.
He's a secret agent.
That's what it is. He's a secret agent.
Yeah.
So there's some characters that die in that story, and it is like it's a story. It's a story based game, action with the action in it, right? Yeah. So I feel like you lose the impact of the loss of those characters that it had on you, and making them. I don't know. Did he confirm that was? I mean, I think it's cool to be able to see them in the hospital at the end, but like it loses the impact of losing that character. It's not about. I mean, of course, it's a video game. Have fun, but it's also storytelling. So like, it should impact you in some way, right? So like,
absolutely.
You felt a certain way and things happen at the end. Everybody's alive. It's kind of like when I watched that anime, Soul Eater, and the kid with the purple hair, Chrono. Like basically nobody died in that anime, and I was like, dang, like people got like you get like near death. They're like on the ground, and then some superhero comes and save them or whatever like that. You like loses the impactfulness of the story that could have been told.
Well, no, so
sometimes that part of that.
So that whole in the hospital thing, it never made the cut. It was never something that happened. It's just the idea that there's more to games than just killing.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, beyond just killing is fine, but like that's a story game. So like those losses had an impact because the main character must have felt some type of way towards those characters. So in that respect, I feel like loss is just part of storytelling and not just mindless Call of Duty killing.
Well, right. So in that regard, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But like, I don't know. I love experiences like that. Like loss like we all experience loss. So I don't know. I think it's important that when we are playing these games, we're watching films or whatever with our friends and our family and all that. It's just, I don't know. We have violence. It's in our history. It's a part of a part of our life. As much as I wish we didn't have violence, it's a part of what we do. And I'd be a stone cold liar if I said I didn't. As long as we explain the concepts that are happening, it's totally fine. Like that's where I stand. But what about you, Reese? How you feel about that?
Anything? Take your time. We're not all just waiting on you. Don't worry.
I will take my time just because that whole I saw that part of the story 2B where you mentioned that it was contemplated that he visited victims in the hospital. But I would, aside from, kind of, I guess, what would that be? Validating the violence that's in said games? Like, oh, I'm sorry I did this to you. Let me go and try to make, like, bygones be bygones or something like that. I was, aside from, let's say, foregoing the violence in the game that caused it to be in the situation in the first place, what else would that achieve?
I just feel like I'm 100% not against, or I'm 100% with the idea that not every game or even form of media or entertainment needs to be violent in any sort of way.
Absolutely. Or even contain elements of violence.
Huh?
Yeah. No, or even contain elements of violence.
It's just that I just feel like when you're telling a story, sometimes like some of that is just impactful in your storytelling. I don't think that you should forcefully try and I don't think you should forcefully try and not include violence, whether it is to prove a point or just to not have it in your storytelling. Just forcefully, like let's say you're trying to tell an impactful story or whatever, and you say, I'm not going to have violence in this. And so like nobody dies or nobody gets hurt or there's always a band-aid of some sort for somebody. It just seems like, for me, it just seems like it's like super cheesed and super forced, like, and like kind of childish, like a kind of childish in a way. Like those are movies that like are like younger Disney movies like Frozen and stuff like that. Frozen is probably not the best. Huh?
Yeah. No, and I'm thinking what he's thinking is.
Yeah,
go ahead, dude.
Well, like even in those films, there is loss. Like there is, like if you watch Up, like his wife dies at the very beginning.
Like
there is loss.
There
is a part of that. So like,
does that count as violence?
That's not violence though.
Well, no, but you mentioned loss, like someone dying and then finding out that they didn't really die. Doesn't matter. Like you know what I mean. But he's not saying that. But what he's saying is. Yeah,
but I brought that up because of the James Bond thing where you said that where the people died, you see them in the hospital at the end. That's the only reason why I brought that up because I thought
no.
that's
a question. It's a story that's been circulating the scene for years. So they asked him about the story, like they asked him about the validity of that story.
Okay.
And his answer, he just avoided it, and his answer had to do with violence in video games, like. Just understanding that in games, that's why I mentioned Last of Us, that there is violence, but there's an explanation as to why the emotion is there as well.
Yeah.
Versus a GTA 5 where you just want
where it's just mindless killing. Right. That's his point behind violence. It's not that. So he's like, I reject it in my games, which is totally fine. He's like, but other studios, they do it. Totally fine. He's like, I just think that there should be more concepts behind the explanation of the violence versus just having a super violent game because you know it's going to sell well.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm fine with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
No qualms.
But that was my first thing coming into it is I was like, what do you mean? And then after I read more of his interview, I'm like, okay, he doesn't like violence. So he doesn't make games that have strong violence unless it's super cartoony like Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, because we killing chickens. I mean, the Zelda. I mean, and Link, and like Peter, chill.
Wow.
Yeah, because like Link is fighting with a sword and a bow, like he's hurting things, you know. So it's not like it's not like there's no violence in his games over the years. It's just he just tries to cater experiences in a different way. And I thought that was really dope and really interesting because like there are more ways to make movies and video games without just violence. Like I play a lot of games that have violence in them and I play a lot of games that don't. I mean, so it's like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, no, there's also like drama movies where there's literally no violence whatsoever. And then there's pure comedy movies where, so like that type of entertainment is definitely possible.
Yeah. Definitely. So like that was kind of like his thing because like he had the stigma of like, I don't like violence. So it's like, well, no. He's like, just because I don't like it in my games, it doesn't mean that it's not.
Well, I just don't like the Nintendo way. Like I don't know. It's too. They're too. I'm trying to think of a good way to say, but like you can't even use the taunt button in Super Smash Brothers Online.
See, stuff like that is I don't know who's in charge of that. I don't know what that's about. Like to me. That's overkill. But like what he's saying in this interview though is stuff that like I'm really behind, like stuff I really get with.
Yeah, that's stuff he's saying. I'm not mad really about it at all. That's cool. I feel like everybody either feels that way or knows that already. Like you don't absolutely
see, but you say that, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people they don't like. So like I was also going into like a lot of studies and stuff like that, and you know, going all the way back to 93 to the Mortal Kombat thing with the censorship and all that. Like it goes deep, and there's people who don't. The average person, especially like our age group and older, they don't understand that like these video games are not like conditioning us to be violent, but people believe that. There's a lot of people who really believe that movies and video games are conditioning our generation and a younger generation to be more violent.
So then that would be the opposite of what I was just saying then, right?
Well, what do you mean?
That those type of people would not want violence in video games at all. They're kind of with that dude, Momo, whatever his name is.
Well, right. So but they think that. And so that's why what I was saying is I think it's important that we sit down with our families and our children and let them know like violence is a part of our history. It's in our video games, it's in our movies, it's in books, it's everywhere.
It's just outside.
As long as you have that conversation, you explain to them that this is fantastical, it's fiction, it's not real, it's just an expression of creativity. As long as you have those conversations, and violence is totally fine as long as you understand that. But you know,
Can't have that conversation with everybody because go home and play GTA 5. Oh, you're killing random civilians in the street. That's just gonna make me want to go outside and do the same thing.
People,
That's not absolutely the case.
Come on,
that's not the case.
It's wild. Like yeah, and like the Nintendo way when it comes to their video game making, I'm all about their video game making. I'm not a fan of their relationship with their communities. That, as you guys know, I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan of how they handhold and cater to. It's funny that they don't treat their community well, but they like to cater and hold their hand. Nintendo's weird. They're a weird company, man. I don't like them.
Like
I'm sorry. I don't like Nintendo.
Like, so what he was saying is he likes to make games that create healthy relationships with families. So he's like the games that I make, he was like, it makes him happy because during the lockdown, it was like his kid was playing a game and the whole family was just wrapped around the TV watching him play the game. And he was like, I was excited watching him play a game that I made, obviously. Mm-hmm. And he was like, he was excited because he's playing a game and it's super fun and it's super interactive and he's having a blast. And his mom was watching him play the game as opposed to like just excited that the kid is playing the game. And he's like, I love making games that have that impact on families. He's like, because like if it was a violent game, it might be split. Like the mom might be like, oh my God, I don't want him playing those. And the dad will be like, that's super cool. He's like, I would just like to make experiences where everybody can get involved with no biases and no judge. Everyone's just having fun and feeling good.
Yeah.
So he's like, that's just what I like to make. So I was like, cool. Like that's fire. Like I love that because I feel like we need a balance. Like we need some of that and we need some Call of Duty. Just muck it up. Just make a mess and blow everything up and have fun. But also like Intelligent Cube. It's just good fun.
I was talking that real game right there.
So, yes.
What's with that face? You made a rather interesting face on the mention of Intelligent Cube. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I know y'all want to play that game where you go hiking in the mountains of Scotland.
Oh my! I'm gonna play it.
If it's any good, I might play.
Oh my gosh!
We're not gonna talk.
Yeah. Like everything doesn't have to be action, fast paced for me.
Well, I'm glad you got that out the way because the attitude that you two had this morning towards that particular article was very 180.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just like thoughts on violence in gaming, and I only read like maybe a sentence, and I thought that I read that he was like games shouldn't be violent or something like that. Like I really just glossed over it, and I was like, man, leave me alone, Nintendo.
Nah, he didn't say anything like that.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine with that idea though. Like, nah, you don't need every single game to be violent. Like, that's perfectly fine. Like, as long as you don't judge others for making violent games and you want to make your non-violent games, that's perfectly. Cool.
Like because that's what I was looking for in the article. I was scanning to see, and he was like, he's like, I have no issue, no beef, like with any other studio honing in on that aspect of gaming. He's like, do you? He's like, I just see there's so many more ways to make experiences without that. And he's like, everyone's doing that, so we're gonna stay in our lane and do what we do.
Do you, boo boo?
Right. So, question: you consider fighting games violent?
Yeah, they are violent. I mean, it's cartoonish most of the time. So I was looking at like Harvard studies and all this stuff, and how like realistic shooters and realistic violence is supposed to make people more violent, and cartoonish violence doesn't. It's just, I'm like, dude, just sit down with your family, sit down with your kids, talk to them, and that's it. just explain.
You see how they
sharing those experiences with your children to explain that this is not like the same way that you watch a violent movie. It's the same way as them playing a violent video game. As long as you explain to them, because you know it's not real, you know it's fiction. Just explain those same concepts to them, and everything will be totally fine.
You seen how they played us when they introduced Sephiroth during the VGAs, and they had Sephiroth stab Mario, and then
it went through his overall
silhouette, and then when they gave him the color, he just had his he has little overalls.
Because I saw the silhouette, I'm like, there's no way that.
I was like, yo, Mario just got done. That's crazy. And then they played us.
You can't kill the mascot.
My man did that. My man's did that. What's it called? The wave dash?
Real talk.
Right through the overall, man.
Right through the overalls, man. But yeah, man, that's my whole stance on violence in video games. Is like, dude, make a good game. That's really it. You know, like I don't care if it's violent or not violent. I'm all about just having fun. Like I can find the fun in pretty much in most games. You know, I can find it in most games. Doesn't have to be violent for me.
Well, the reason I brought up fighting game.
Oh, that's me. Excuse me. that was for me. Because
Mistake.
That
was terrible, but I'll take it.
No. He brought up fighting. Oh wait, no. Speaking of fighting, wink, wink. GranBlue Fantasy.
Yo, I can't.
Oh my gosh. Actually, I actually heard about this game from my younger brother, little brother. What do I call him? He's like basically 30 now. Like, is it
still your younger brother?
Your little brother or your younger brother?
You could be 60 and I'll be 65. You're still little brother,
I'm gonna just start texting him like, "Hey, yo, grown man." Hey, yo, adult.
Hey, yo,
grown little man.
Adult little brother. Yo, what's good?
Hey, yo, adult. He showed me this game because, like, you guys know that I love hyper fighters, even though they're dying on me right before my very eyes. And recently, GranBlue Fantasy Versus had come out, and I heard before that it was a mobile game, but I really didn't like delve into that. Whatever, I just thought this GranBlue Fantasy Versus game was a cool take on fighting games in general. It had like this cool cooldown system or whatever. So he just texted me and showed me that there's this new game that's coming out, GranBlue Fantasy Relink, and so. If you haven't heard of GranBlue Fantasy at all, it's not surprising because it was originally released in Japan in 2014 as a mobile and browser game, which is interesting because the game is on the mobile. It's in Japan only. You can only play it in Japan, but it's also a web browser game. So over here, we could have been playing it on the web browser, but like a lot of people didn't know that. Once you see that it was only released in Japan and it's not even in our mobile apps, you're probably not even gonna even look for it.
Off, yeah.
But the English version is on the browser game, and only on Google Chrome and Safari. And I watched like little clips of it or whatever. It looked pretty cool. It looked like 2D versions of Final Fantasy 3 characters. If you ever played Final Fantasy 3 for 3DS, it was cool. And that game was developed.
Enthusiastic about it.
Huh?
You don't sound very enthusiastic about it.
No, I mean it's a gacha game. It looked cool. It's like an OG RPG, turn-based battle system they got jobs, and it looked cool. It's a gacha game, so I don't really vibe all that well with gacha games. But this one though was developed and published by Cygame, and it's most notable for reuniting. You're gonna have to help me with his name. How you say his name? Nobuo Uematsu. Did I say that right?
You got it right for the most part.
For the most part.
It's crazy how he wants to say the name right this time, but he won't say it right when he knows how to say it right. Go ahead.
So they reunited music composer Nobuo Uematsu and art director Hideo Minaba, who previously collaborated on Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy IX, and Lost Odyssey. Some banger games, minus Final Fantasy VI.
Okay.
Blasphemy.
Don't. You know what? I'm not falling for your trap. I'm not falling. Just go ahead. No.
Everyone's like villain.
For real.
Oh man, that game needs a remake, man. I'm telling you.
It does need a remake, but
remake.
This doesn't mean it's bad. Go ahead.
So like I said, it is a gacha game, turn-based with a job system. And the game was very, very, very well received and in Japan and grossed a total of $503 million USD, because yen would be too much to say.
It's a lot of yen.
Yeah,
and
a lot of yen.
Relink?
But 503 million, huh?
Or the original GranBlue?
The original GranBlue Fantasy, the one that
Gotcha.
released. So by 2016, it had amassed 10 million players, and by the end of 2018, it had upwards of like 50, 60 million, and it raised $503 million. So they was just making money, and it did amazingly well. It did so well that they ended up adapting it into a an anime with 2 seasons, and we got that fighting game. So they're like making this world
a franchise.
Yeah, they're making it. They're like, yo, we're trying to.
Now, do you think they tested our market with Jugalia?
I potentially.
Jugalia did make Cy. I mean, Cy did make Jugalia. Yeah,
they did make Jugalia Lost. Yeah, they did make that game.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
I mean, it depends. When did Jugalia come out? Because
I want to say 2018.
Huh?
I want to
say
either
last year or the year before, because it's been a little while since I opened that app.
I'll confirm. Just give me a second.
It came out in 2018, September 2018.
2018.
Close.
So yeah, I mean, because the systems are completely different. So I don't know. I wouldn't say because they released the mobile app, or I'm sorry, they released Dragalia, which was a mobile app, which was like an adventure game mobile app, and then what they gave us, the very first thing we saw of the GranBlue Fantasy was the fighting game with like this little side-scrolling RPG aspect within the game. So I don't know if I'd say they tested on. I mean, I guess to see if they like their games. I mean, and now we have GranBlue Fantasy Relink, which to me looks more like a Genshin type vibes. Now they only had a 20-minute video, and they only really showed the battle system, which in my opinion is fire. It's so dope. There's a lot going on, and I feel like, again, my younger brother and people who like Genshin Impact and like Star, I think if you like Star Ocean, you would really like this battle system. It's got a system where if you hold R1 and press one of the face buttons, you'll do like an ability, and you can like soup up that ability to turn it. I think you hold that ability, and it becomes like a super version of that ability. There's weapons and spells that have levels individually, and they have their own, depending on which weapon, have their own specific level cap. There's just, I thought it looked really, really cool, really, really interesting, and also it gave me Genshin vibes. And the first time this gameplay was shown was in 2017 at the GranBlue Fez.
They have their own festival.
Huh?
Think about that. It's not the Cygame event. It's the GranBlue Festival. Like they're really sold on building a franchise with this.
So they showed this Relink stuff in 2017.
And
they showed Relink in 20. They showed the 20 minutes of which I watched. This is what I watched. 20 minutes of gameplay of Relink, which I don't know. I thought it was cool. And then it was officially revealed in December of 2018 because the project name, it's first of all, let me say that it's a collaboration between Platinum Games and Cygame. Originally, that's what the collaboration was, and it was called GranBlue Fantasy Project Link. Why they named it like that, no idea. Really,
come on, you know they always do that stuff.
Let's not get into the naming convention.
The naming convention's out of hand now.
I don't know, really strange, but in that game, the game is set in the same fictional realm as the original GranBlue Fantasy, but takes place in a different location, and some characters from the original game will appear within this one.
Of course, you got to build that hype.
Yeah,
got to build that hype because I'm watching the video from her, and I see one of the main guys from the fighting game. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. So in 2018, they
I already know who it is.
They said we're gonna move the semicolon over a little bit, and we're gonna call it GranBlue Fantasy Relink, not semicolon link. I don't know. Anyways, and then so that happened in December, and then February of 2019, it was announced that Platinum Games would no longer be a part of the project, and Cygames will handle the rest of the development. And so
What
I
was that
looked into
about?
why. I was looking for some beef, some inner strife. I want them to be
I
smoked.
I got a question or an inkling about that.
What?
Well, it's a question. Do you think? So I don't know if you know, but Platinum Games is really known for like hack and slash, super fast paced action type games.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they only hired them to help them make the open world combat system, and then once that was done, there was then peace, we got it. Like,
Well, actually, I have the exact answer and quote to your question.
oh yeah, give me that.
Because I looked into it.
that.
I want, like I was saying, I wanted some inner beef, some strife. I want somebody to be throwing blows. You know what I'm saying?
Keep what they say.
Huh?
Well, why you want violence? Yo,
yeah, why do you want violence?
Where's Miyamoto at? Where's Miyamoto at?
I wanted to see some violence, but
our opening segment
Platinum Games,
violence.
and I quote, said, "While we Platinum Games have been working with Cygame in co-development of the upcoming console game GranBlue Fantasy Relink, we officially announced our contract on the project has come to an end." And that was
there. It is.
Ah,
that was it.
They
needed them for that part.
to do a job.
They did their part. The contract was done. That was then.
That's it. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Have a good launch. Peace.
Yep. And so they exited.
The contract?
Huh?
Just a contract? That's it?
That was all that was out there, is that the contract ended.
is done.
And that was it.
Have a good launch.
I just find it amazing that it was just that simple, because when we talk about companies, it's typically some strife.
I was looking for
some deep-seated hatred.
I was scouring the web.
I know you were.
Scouring the web for violence. I was looking for it. I wanted it. I had my pen and pad ready.
Keon woke up today and chose violence.
I woke up, grabbed my pen and paper, sat at my desk, and was like, what kind of violence can I find on the web today?
Wow.
But it was not there. Unfortunately, it was not there. Or maybe fortunately, I'm not sure. Anyways. Yes, this is it's an RPG, and I guess you would call it ARPG. Would it be considered ARPG? So the way they showed it, it kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 15, where you get into a battle and then now you're in like battle mode. Yep. Because you can run around and it's like Final Fantasy 15 or
you're just
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, like you can run around and do your thing, but it's not like it's not like random where you shoo, and it's not like turn based or anything like that. Yeah. So that's what it looked like, because they only showed us getting into a fight with some. They like activated the fight. It was weird. It was with a dummy. It's a test dummy. You want to test the battle system, that type of thing. And it is a 4-player or up to 4-player co-op with one, or if you do not have any friends, you have one main character and 3 AI. And about that, thank you to Zodia for the subscription. Really appreciate you. And the way that is this is the first inkling that I have of gacha vibes. Was there's 4 slots for your characters. You have your main character, which I believe you can switch like the user, kind of like Genshin. I think you can, because they switched out the main character. It was the dude, and then they switched to a chick. And so you have these 4 characters, or these other 3 slots, and they picked from a list of like 12, 13 other characters, and they made out their whole party. Okay. And so that tells me that it's going to be a lot of characters in this game. Obviously, how you get these other new characters, I don't know. Is it just story? Are you pulling them from packs? Is this a gacha game? They haven't released a lot of information on it, so do not know that very aspect of it yet. But from what I've seen, it's like that high-paced fire battle system where you're just comboing out, unleashing spells, abilities, and moves. Like, the battle system is dope. It looks really dope. A lot of fun. And there's even link specials. So you can have you have one character. They went up to link 3, I believe, where you have one character do a special, and then your next character links onto that and does their special, and then the next character links onto that and does their special, and you hit them with this one giant powerful move. Well, it's back to back. It's not one move, but you just combo, and it's actually it'll say link chain 1, link chain 2, link. Yeah,
I was gonna say this is starting to sound like MVC 2.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
The battle system, which is all they showed, but the battle system looks dope. It gave me Star Ocean Genshin Impact vibes.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I have on that. I am very, very, very interested in this game because it looks just like my type of RPG. It's got that goopy goblin gaming brain type of battle system that I absolutely love. So I'm definitely having my eye on it. The graphics look like it looks like Eternal Sonata. Like it looks like an anime RPG.
Yeah. Well, like the graphics look just like the fighting game, right? Like they're trying to keep that same kind of look, that same like 2D kind of cel shaded, but not kind of grainy.
It's 2D. It's 3D, but like it's cel shaded, but not
2.5D.
No. Like they're full 3D rendered models, of course. I'm just comparing it to the fighting game. Like the models definitely look very similar to that.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching them get really, really busy on this boat, like the fight.
The boat, yes, that's where the bulk of the action happens on the boat.
And like he ran up, and I guess there's stuff in the world that you can use. Like you can run up and grab a turret,
he shoot a
helicopter down, shoot an airship down. Yeah, like it's pretty. It's like really fast paced. Like he's getting shot at, he's doing side dodges, it looks really fun. Like this game looks really fun. I really hope the co-op is done significantly better than Genshin.
I hope so too. I hope it's not.
That's why I stopped playing Genshin.
That was quite unfortunate.
I hope it's not a gacha game, and if it is, because Genshin did gacha amazingly. Like Genshin is one of the best, or probably the best gacha game I've ever seen. I've played the Star Ocean gacha, and I absolutely love that one for a mobile game. But Genshin is probably like the best one I've ever seen. They did it well. I just don't like gacha because of how you have to play gacha, and there's a lot of restrictions in the way that you play gacha games. And because of that, that's why their co-op works the way it does, because of this restriction.
All those restrictions. Like you can't just be like, yo, let's just pop in and play the story together and just
it's not like Borderlands where you just link up with friends and go shoot around and actually play and progress through the story together as a unit.
When will we get an RPG like that? Like when?
Yeah.
Like I feel like we've been asking for that since like '98. Like when are we gonna get an RPG, like a full-fledged like JRPG or action JRPG, whatever you want to call it, game like this with a leveling system and items and equips and all that stuff and numbers and math, but be able to just pop in with your character and play the story together? Like when is that ever gonna happen? Please.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like when will the day come where you control Squall, I control Zell, and he controls somebody else, and we just roll in? Like why? Like when is that happening? Like when do we get that?
I'm hopefully honestly, I hope it's starting with this game, because
hopefully
they haven't told us that it's gacha yet. And even if it is gacha, maybe they can just break that little thing and let us play actual co-op story mode together, collecting items together,
progress.
Yeah,
that is together. The most important part. Yes,
right. Like when is that going to happen? Like when
like
can
Diablo,
I pick my character? Huh?
It's like Diablo. Like
Diablo's been doing it.
Like why can't I get that?
Yeah,
why can't I get that? Like why can't I
but
get
the
that?
battle system is fire. I think everybody should definitely check it out. The game, it's a ways away. It's not slated to come out until 2022, but it is.
Rough.
But it is going to be coming for next gen consoles as well as PS4 and PS5, I should say. So, I don't know, man. I'm very interested in this game, and I'm waiting to hear more from it because I'm really digging what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah,
you're too excited.
Based on what you told me and what I'm looking at right now as I watch the video live, looks fun, man. It looks even more fast-paced and more fun than Genshin. Like it looks like even more up my alley.
It's like Genshin plus. It's like it's happening.
Like Genshin has all the elemental stuff that makes it really cool. This looks like it could have something like that as well. Like,
I mean, I didn't mention it, but yes, it does have. It actually it not tells you, but it influences. I'm not sure if that's the right word. It encourages. That's the word. Thank you. Encourages you to use the right element because if you go in with the wrong element, you can get hurt. You know what I mean?
You can get hurt. You're gonna heal the enemy. You're just gonna do that.
Yeah, I do not know if it has the same cool elemental effects as Genshin, because the thing that made Genshin so sick was how you can mix like water with ice or like fire with wind and like do.
And how they mix up, like if ice hits fire, it does one thing, but if fire hits ice, it does nothing.
And if you
like
wet
that was
them
crazy.
and then hit them with electricity, it does more damage. Like Genshin
was hot, bro.
That was dope. That was super dope.
They just blew it with that multiplayer.
Right, just like he said, the gacha restrictions. Ruined it for me.
Man.
It ruined it for me. Like, why can't it just be like Division or Diablo? Just pop in and just play with my mans. Like, why can't I do that?
Like Diablo,
why can I not do that?
Diablo, Borderlands, like one of those link up with your friends type ARP, bro.
It's been done before, so it can't be like, oh no, we don't know what to do. They didn't know what to do before those games came out, and then they figured it out. There is a way to get forward progression in a gacha. I was about to say in a Genshin.
In a Genshin,
progression in a gacha while still maintaining its gacha isms or whatever you want to call it. There has to be a way for that.
Right, while maintaining the idea that we're going to try and get you to spend some money on some packs and characters. That's fine.
That's the gacha way, which would mean this game should, if it's gacha, it's going to be free, because that's how these games make their money, through microtransactions. But if it's a paid console game, $60, $70, let me link with my friends.
Bro,
let me link with my friends.
Bro, if I got to pay $70 for this, let me link with my friends.
Link. If I pay $70 for this and I can't link with my friends, this is gonna be another refund fiasco. That's what I'm saying.
I tell you what, I am not spending $70 on this game if I cannot link with my friends. I can't link with my friends because, like, it looks fun. Don't get me twisted, but like, this looks like a game that, like, if I can't do that, like it's not like a story-based game. If it's like kind of gacha-ish and not really story-based and all that, and it has the gacha restrictions for playing with my friends, I'll hear about it from people.
I'll watch you play it.
I'll watch somebody play it.
That's why I didn't get much time behind. But see, I love Genshin. I really do. Like, I genuinely really love Genshin. I just didn't put much time into it because I don't want to be sitting there throwing money at these packs. Like, I'm just not that type of game player, you know. And
me either.
I had fun with it, but I want to play with my friends too.
Yeah.
And if that was a possibility, then you can play with your friends in that game. It's just the restrictions on it are ridiculous, dude. Like,
I'd rather play with my friends without restriction.
Huh?
You, like you said, you're getting used essentially. I want to play with my friends without restriction.
Right, like when we go into a dungeon and we beat it, we should all get the items and all the experience. We should all get all of that. Like, like why is that so hard? Like, I don't get that. I don't get.
You know what's funny?
No sense.
Crystal Chronicles does it kind of weirdly. Like, it does the same thing, but we get the items. So when I went to my solo file that one time, I still had all that stuff that we had when we were playing, but I did not have the forward progression.
That's the problem with Crystal Chronicles, is that you get the items, but you don't complete the dungeon on your end of it. Like, what? That makes no
sense. And what was their reason? Like, on the original version, when everybody had to bring over their Game Boy SPs in order to even play with you in the first place, you didn't get the progression then. So
it's 2020, bro.
It was
Fix
weak.
It.
That was weak. You could definitely fix that.
Fix it, man.
Like, he cleared this with these items. Edit his save file. Done.
Now,
seriously,
I understand games that are like a game save file, like one file, like Divinity Original Sin 2. Like, it's not like a pop-it. It's not like I make a character, you make a character, he makes a character, and we could just pop in each other's games. It's like, no, you make a character. It's like you create a file and you make a character. So like that person has to load the server.
Oh, like 7 days, Reese?
Like 7 days.
Yeah, like 7 days.
So that's how Dots 2 is. But once you make a character, you're all progressing through the story together. Like, you don't play without each other unless you give very strict permission. Fine, I'm on vacation. You can play without me. Just let me know what happens. Other than that, like, you play it together.
Play it together.
I would love for this game to either have that or have the drop-in system where we just, if I pop in and I play a dungeon with you, it should be completed on my end as well, and I should get the experience and the items as well as everyone else who's there.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. We've been doing this for years. It's not that hard.
It's a simple concept.
They got you. They got you. That's what it is.
That's how they get you. They get you with the gotcha.
So it's.
Oh, that's terrible.
Wait. So it's GranBlue Fantasy Relink.
Relink.
Okay.
Is that a colon or a semicolon?
Colon.
Thank you.
Colon.
That's what I said. Semicolon earlier. You know what? Let me not.
Relink.
Relink.
By Cygame and
Cygame.
A little bit of Platinum Games.
Yes, formerly Platinum Games.
And contracted Platinum Games.
Right.
Oh, no.
Featuring Platinum Games.
Is like, peace. Have a better launch than Cyberpunk.
Speaking of everybody's favorite game.
Who's
man,
everybody?
oh man, has these past 2 weeks been interesting. Cyber Crash, Crash Punk. We've come up with a number of names for this game based on our experiences with them. Like BK even contained himself.
Oh, Crash Punk is a good band, dude. Sounds like a good band name.
A number of our order have actually ended up refunding this game, which is, I want to say, surprising to me, but it's not. Like, this game, I don't even have to say anything. If you haven't heard or seen it by this time, you're living under a rock, essentially, because the news is out there. This is one of the most botched game releases in history.
Bro, terrible.
For the most part, they kind of sort of did it to themselves. And they does not include the developers of this game who had to essentially deal with hell these past years trying to bring this vision, as Mr. Miyamoto likes to say, bringing this vision to the people. This last Thursday, they had an internal video meeting, which, you know me, I was trying to fish around in that, try to get some details about the violence that occurred inside the boardroom. But I found an alternate one that I'll share with you guys. Frustrated and angry staff fired questions at the board during this internal meeting this previous Thursday that opened with the senior management apologizing for Cyberpunk 2077's disastrous launch. It was a fitting atmosphere for a company whose slogan, which is, by the way, plastered on all posters around its office, saying, "We are rebels." These developers asked the management blunt questions about the game's unrealistic deadlines and the relentless overtime in the months and years leading up to the December 10th release.
Years.
This meaning
years.
I heard some crazy
Didn't we
stuff.
discover that this started production in 2012? Wow, 2012. Yeah, 2012, right?
Well, it was announced in 2012 when production started. I have no idea, but it was announced in 2012. Yeah.
Before after that, yeah. Like I mentioned about the refunds, this meeting that I just mentioned actually took place before Sony's decision to pull game from the PSN and allow refunds of its own, because apparently CD Projekt Red is a subsidiary, by the way. CD Projekt is the parent, and there are numerous let's say miniature versions of the company floating about. Red is one of them. So CD Projekt Red kind of jumped the gun on Twitter. It was like, yeah, we'll start giving you refunds without going to Sony. So there's a little speculation as to why they pulled it from the store, so they couldn't get refunds that way. You'd have to go through the official Sony method, which is to go on our website and then do the process there. But this internal meeting took place before that. And then they set out that tweet saying, quote, "Following our discussion with PlayStation, the decision was made to temporarily suspend digital distribution. This leads to two issues. Obviously, you can't buy the game on PSN right now. And anybody who actually has the game right now and wants to watch their friend play cannot, because you're met with a message, this game is not available in your country or region," which is factual because they pulled it from the store. So now you can't share play the game or buy the game right now.
Wow.
So a lot of it's go ahead, B.
No, I just didn't know that. That's nuts. So like,
but that's weird though, because you have the license, so
they blocked it.
Yeah, but you can't buy it. Fine, but if I own it and I have it and I have the license, I bought it, paid for it, I can share the game. Right?
Yes, but that would be the equivalent of Go ahead, Ben.
Like there's some games that you just can't share.
Zodia too. Thank you for the gifted sub.
Yeah, like there's some games that you can't share play. Like even if you own it, like
Persona 5.
Persona 5, they don't let you. It's at the request of either the company or maybe Sony can block it as well. Where they're like,
Wow.
nah, you can't, because like I wanted to watch someone play Persona 5 and just to see if I'd be interested. Hey, shout out to KJ2294 as always with subs. It's all love. He's like, I shan't be bested.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so I wanted to see this game, and it's like, nah, bro, you can't see this game. You got to buy it yourself. I'm like, that's crazy.
So this is our discussion piece. So there's going to be a lot of Q&A. There were a lot of questions in regards to this, and I want to make sure that I address a number of them. So if you two have questions, if anybody that's listening has questions, hit me with those questions, and I will try to answer them based on the information that I was able to gather. Many industry observers have wondered why Cyberpunk 2077, which was first announced in 2012 and delayed 3 times this year, still appears to be unfinished. Several current and former staff who worked on the game have all said the same thing. The game's deadlines set by the board of directors were always unrealistic. It was clear to many of the developers that they still needed more time.
You know what I think happened? I can tell you exactly what I think happened. Because remember, CDPR is it's a public domain. It's public. So I think when they was looking for investors and stuff, they said, "Hey, I have this idea for a game." Laid out the idea, whatever, for their project. And Jessica Lee, thank you for the gifted sub. Appreciate you.
Hype train has started.
They gave out they laid out the plan. They said the idea, laid out the plan, and said that, hey, we have this idea. This is what it is, and we can have it out for you guys by this time. And their investors was like, oh wow, really? Okay, this is an amazing idea. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh my God.
There's a lot.
Why?
There's a lot going on.
Why do you guys do this?
Keep going. I want to hear what you guys say. Keep going.
How can I speak? This is. I love you guys so much. I love everybody. This is an amazing idea. We'll fund it. We'll fund it. And okay. And so that's what happened. They funded it, and then they went back to their oh my goodness, you guys are nuts. They went back to their devs and was like, "Hey, we're funded. Let's get the ball rolling. This is when we got to have it out by." And so
everybody looked at each other and was like,
basically, oh my gosh, yo, what?
Go ahead.
No, that was my thought. Like, that's just what I think happened. They went, when it was getting, when they went public, they told all their investors, like, hey, this is the plan, this is the idea, this is the project, and this is when we can have it out for you by. And they said, great, this is perfect. Money dump. They went back to the devs. Hey, we're funded. Let's do this. We need it out by X. And the devs were like, yo, what? Y'all are nuts. And that's kind of where like the conflict happened. But it's like, yes, we're crazy, but do it.
I can see one of the head devs like, I'm going to head out. Just get up off the team.
Here's the thing, which is really interesting to me. I didn't see any inkling of like a quote original release date. It was like, okay, yeah, we announced it. We're starting to work on it. We plan to have it out by X. There never was an X before the first
April 16th.
mention of it. It was April 16th.
Well,
yeah.
I think what the devs mean by that, like former and current, is like internal deadlines. Like obviously the game is set to be released on April 16th, 2020. But maybe internally they had deadlines like this piece of the coding needs to be done by this time. This part of the coding needs to be done by this time. This part of the game needs to be done by this time. And they were probably looking at each other like,
you're kind of
no shot.
I don't want to say mixing up the two, but they're are several types of development cycles, which is funny. I actually had to end up doing this for work myself. So there's the two main types of development, I would say, is cascading and Scrum. So Cascade is more like, yo, we do everything here, and then we check everything, check if it's good, and then we send it out. Scrum takes place in what's called sprints. So where I work, it's 2-week sprints. In 2 weeks, you have this objective of things to do, whether it be improvements to what already exists, bug fixes, introduction of new elements, things like that. We don't know how exactly. We can't say, oh yeah, this happened because of that. We don't really know their development cycle. So, but I kind of do get what you're saying though. I mentioned the internal call that happened on Thursday between the execs and the developers. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a transcript of that. It's internal, obviously. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want to have this out there in the first place. What I was able to find was the investor call that the upper management had CDPR versus its investors. So the opening from that, after 3 delays, after 3 delays, we as the management board were too focused on releasing the game. We underestimated the scale and the complexity of the issues. We ignored the signals about the need for additional time to refine the game on our base last-gen consoles. So that seems to be one of the primary stinks of this game, is that this game is essentially unplayable on PS4, the 1X.
Yeah.
Like if you go on, you don't even have to go on the internet. Go on the Cyberpunk game subreddit, and there are screenshots and videos and stories galore about what this game does on previous gen consoles. Continuing quote, it was the wrong approach and against our business philosophy. On top of that, during the campaign, we showed the game mostly on PCs. This caused the loss of gamers' trust and the reputation that we've been building through a big part of our lives. That's why our first steps are solely focused on regaining those two things. We're concentrating on fixing Cyberpunk on last-gen consoles, this, that, and the other. Of course, PC gamers will be getting regular updates, so on and so forth.
Because, right, that's the big thing, right, with branding, right, and companies. It's like, as long as your consumer believes in your brand and they trust you, they will buy your products, right? Mm-hmm. Like, as long as you trust the company in their message or their whatever, you usually will continue to purchase from them. Mm-hmm. But when if they release a bad game, so let's say Cyberpunk 2077 wasn't broken at all. It just didn't get good reviews. It had mixed reviews. It just wasn't a great game. You'd be more inclined to say, they messed this one up. It was a little overhyped or whatever you say for it. And then you let's see what they do next. Maybe there's a Witcher 4, maybe there's a Cyberpunk sequel, maybe there's some cool DLC and you're ready for that. What they did was they breached our trust.
You think so?
I think that's my biggest problem with the game is that, for me, that's how I feel with the game. Because you released a broken, unfinished pile of garbage. Underneath that garbage, there's a great game beneath it, but on top of it is this mountain of trash. And for me, I can't rock with you. That's why I asked for a refund. I enjoy what they wanted to do with the game, but on top of that, for me, the crashing and stuff is I can't take it. I can't take it.
Yo, I got a question about that crashing thing because Call of Duty crashes on. Well, it's crashed on me twice. So now, don't get me wrong. Cyberpunk has crashed on me like 5 or 6 times, about 5 or 6 times, maybe even 7 times. But what I think it's more. I don't know. I'm no programmer, no dev dude or anything like that. But I feel like that's the game trying to push out more than a console can handle. But this console is supposed to be a beast. Like why are these games crashing? Why is the and we're sending this information to Sony PlayStation. We're not sending it to CDPR or to Activision. You know what I mean? So
with that, you are 125% correct
Yeah.
that this game is pushing the console to its outer bounds. The PS5, if I'm assuming this correctly, is only emulating the PS4. With emulation comes its limitations. If it's pushing the physical console to its limit, it's going to push the emulation to its limit. It's going to crash in the exact same manner as it would if it were on the actual hardware.
Yeah, so that's my thing, like about the game crashing. Like Cyberpunk has crashed like 7 times, but Call of Duty also crashed on me like once or twice. So that's why I was like, I kind of not forgave it, but I was like, I let up on the crashing a little bit because I'm like, why? Yeah. Why
it might not be the game?
Yeah, like why wasn't it an isolated situation to Cyberpunk? But that's as far as crashing goes. But
because the last 3 big games that have come out are crash fests. Not as much as Cyberpunk, but AC Valhalla, that game crashed. Like you said, Call of Duty, it's been known to crash. And then we have our star of the show, Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So all of these games are pushing the PS4 to its limit.
So I've been playing FIFA 21, the PS5 version, with 0 crashes. Not a single crash since I've been playing it. Not a one. A lot of these PS4 games that I'm playing that have been brought over, Rogue Company, I can just go down the list. They don't crash. Like,
so maybe it's just based on the specific game.
I don't have experiences with those games crashing. Now, I was playing the Call of Duty trial version with you guys earlier, and it crashed a bunch. It crashed like 3 times in that one sitting. Cyberpunk on top of the game crashing for me. I don't know what you guys, but I had a night where it crashed 3 times back to back. I'm like, I'm good. And on top of the crashing is the crazy glitches. Like sometimes I'm naked, like my character's naked in the menus and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, like I paid my hard-earned money for this game, and it's beyond broken. Like it's more than broken. Like not only does it crash, but a lot of the stuff in the game is glitched and doesn't work. So with that, I'm all set.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. No, I was just speaking was just the first half of what I was talking about. The crashes. I just didn't think I know it's not isolated to just Cyberpunk. It's something going on with these games and with this console that I don't. It's definitely beyond.
Really quick, B, because I have something for God. I knew you was gonna say that, and I had this one say for you. One employee asked the board why it had said in January 2020 that the game was complete and playable when that wasn't true, to which the board answered that it would take responsibility. Another developer asked CDP's directors whether they felt it was hypocritical to make a game about corporate exploitation while expecting that their employees work overtime. The response was vague and non-committal.
What was the response?
They didn't
vague and non-committal.
They didn't even bother giving the exact response because of how
so it was like,
it was.
So you basically you made us work 100-hour weeks for something that wasn't ever going to be finished on time, and then you make it in the game. It's about that. It's about like corporate takeover and mismanagement.
Yeah, it's almost and all like that in the center. Yeah,
and they was like, well, "What's up?" And they was like, "No comment." Like.
In May 2019, the joint CEO of this project had an interview with Kotaku. Y'all already started. It's great. Quote, "We've known," pause, let me be humble for a moment here. "We are known for treating gamers with respect," company's co-founder said. "This is what we've been working hard towards. And I would actually like for us to be known for treating developers with respect." That's cool, right?
Nice. I mean, that's the people who literally hands-on make these games.
Yes. This is in May 2019, by the way.
Right.
One of the ways the company plans to do that, he says, is through a, quote, non-obligatory crunch policy. That isn't brand new, but the Warsaw-based CD Projekt Red plans to push harder. He wants to make it clear to Cyberpunk 27 developers that even when the studio asks them to work on nights and weekends, it is not mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
A year and 4 months later, this same person sends out the following email. "Starting today, the entire development studio is in overdrive. elaborating that this meant your typical amount of work and 1 day of the weekend. The extra work will be paid as required by Polish labor laws. And this is a really interesting sentence that I think shouldn't have been put in. Many other video game studios don't pay for overtime. I take it upon myself to receive the full backlash for this decision. I know this is in direct opposition to what we said about crunch. It is also in direct opposition to what I personally grew to believe a while back, that crunch should never be the answer. But we've extended all other possible means of navigating the situation. What does that sound like to y'all? I'm going to be pulling a lot of quotes, by the way, because, you know, we like to say we don't know what happens in these boardrooms or in the closed doors behind in all these companies. I have the answers now. So all those times when we said, oh, we think that they could have said this or that, this is what they're saying. So a year and a few months prior to the crunch, and we actually don't know when it started. They sent that email in September of this year. That crunch could have been already happening.
Right.
Because, you know, the starting word starting today, the entire studio is in overdrive. They already could have been in sixth gear trying to get this thing out, and now they're truly forcing.
Yeah, like I was watching the Daily Fix, and Sidney Goodman reported like that they had over 100-hour weeks. I mean, like 100-hour work weeks leading up to this thing, and it still wasn't done. Like, and they knew it wasn't going to be finished. They knew it wasn't going to be finished. That's my biggest thing, man, is that you knew this game wasn't going to be finished. And I mean, we don't even know if they tried to ask for more time. We don't know if they tried to ask again. We don't know. But they should have, man. They should have, could have, would have. But
could have? Don't know.
Should have, could have, would have.
What you think? You look like you have quite a bit to say.
Me? No, I mean, I don't know if I have a lot to say on it. It just sucks for what happened, because they was doing like, the ideas that they had were so phenomenal. It's so cool.
They're amazing.
It reminds me of when the what's the name of that? When the Warriors lost. I'm bringing it to sports, me of all people. When the Warriors lost to who was it? No, he was on the Cavs. When the Warriors lost to the Cavaliers, when they went
Cleveland,
the
Cleveland? 2016 championship.
Yeah, when they lost and they beat Jordan's record, and they went, I think it was 93-9 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 93-9.
73-9.
73. Oh,
there's only 82 games in the season.
Yeah, 73-9, and that was mind blowing. I was like, they beat Jordan's record of 72-10, and then they lose to the Cavaliers, and then that was the big story.
Oh, that was my favorite. That was like one of my favorite championship sports moments ever watching in my life.
That was the big story. Like,
that reminds me of our 16-1 season.
Yeah. But that was that.
Man,
18-1.
Forget the 73.
18-1. Yeah, sorry.
Forget going 73-9. It's them losing. I think they gave up, but
they lost a 3-1
3-game win, right? Yeah, they lost 3-1. That was the big story for that year.
The thing about it was they won a 3-1 against Kevin Durant's Oklahoma City Thunder in the conference championship going to that.
Yeah. So
they won, like they were down 3-1. They won, get to the championship, go up 3-1, and then lose the title. Oh, that was so dope.
And it's kind of like that in this situation where they did so much dope stuff. They had so much marketing in place. They have a chair with Secret Lab. They have their vehicle and that FedEx simulator, and they also have they have a car.
Sorry, Kojima, I love you, dog, but that game.
Yeah, that game. Listen, whatever. But anyways, they had dope marketing ideas set up, and then they had just dope layers of content to put within their game, like everything around what they were doing and everything that they had going on, and their ideas. That was a brainy game. Like, they had the sensational ideas. So everything that went with that was amazing. It was great. I just wish that they had more time to actually flesh out and get it right, so that when it did come out to us, it was the game that we all hoped it to be.
Oh, here you go.
I know that. Okay, I'm not gonna say I know. I am in 100% full belief that because they are a public company, that is why we got the game when we did, and the condition that we did, and only because the heads of the company gave an unrealistic time for this game to be done. Like when they pitched the idea, they pitched it without like, I don't want to say consulting, or like, I guess consulting the devs,
without
like,
consulting the devs,
without speaking with or planning out properly with the devs a proper times table to get the product out to us. They was just like, we can get this done. Remember when we did a thing on Microsoft purchasing companies, and Microsoft said they was looking for some AAA companies to purchase, or I don't know if they specified AAA, but they said they was looking for companies to purchase to say, hey, we need you to drop a AAA title on this date, and they are confident that this company can get that done. Do you guys remember that? Because Microsoft was looking for that specifically. Yeah. So I think this is the same situation where they said, hey, we can get you guys a game by X amount of date. This is the game idea that we have in mind. And it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough time to get out. Like, they wanted to be that company to be able to put it out when they said they would, but it wasn't. And then when it came time, they had to push it back and say, hey, investors, I'm sorry, it's not ready yet. Okay, fine. Pushed it back. Hey, investors, I'm sorry, it's still not ready yet. Yo, this is our money. Okay, pushed it back. Yo, it's still not ready. Hey, you need to drop this right now. Like, we invested in this. You promised us this time. It's now this time. We need to see where our money went. And so they put it, it was like, okay, our hands are kind of tied. Our backs are against the wall. It's not done, but this is what you'll get. We'll patch it up over time, and this is the outcome that we have.
This is the outcome that we had.
That's exactly how I feel about this whole situation. It's CDPR's fault, and it's not their fault all at the same time. They take all the blame. 100%
it's all their fault.
But the reason why, because I want to say it's not their fault because you keep saying like they could have or should have pushed it off further when it's not completely up to them. It's not their decision.
I'm not saying them. I'm saying the shareholder. Like, if you bring the product to the shareholders and show them, yo, this is broken.
Oh, the shareholders, man, they don't care. They just want their money.
They
don't care.
I understand that, but in being a shareholder, it's like, well, it's not going to sell. Like, people are gonna trash this game and they're gonna return it.
So peep game.
So what you do, what you do, and this is why they lost money. So okay, I'm selling my shares. If you can't give me my product when you told me I was going to give it to me, I want a refund. I'm selling my shares.
Okay, so there's a question kind of in relation to that, actually, because you said two things, and there are two questions kind of related. So first, in regards to, let's say, pressure in getting it released. So the question was, it says, firstly, your earlier comment about the board being too focused on delivering the game and ignoring problems with old gen. Should we take it that you found that it was very important that the game shouldn't be delayed into the next year, or simply that you had always wanted to deliver the game and not delay it, and that you just underestimated the extent to which the last gen version was not going to be the way it should be? Was it more about, quote, the launch is important, or more about, quote, we underestimated how bad the last gen version was? And then there was a second question about the certification stage and all that stuff. Let's see here. Sorry, final question. Are you confident that last gen machines will be able to produce an acceptable version of this game? And I say this as a PS4 owner, so I hope so. But is this something that's simply too demanding, and in hindsight, no amount of fixing is going to generate an acceptable experience? Answer. Sorry, because that was a mouthful.
Yeah.
First, your question was about the focus and the cause of ours ignoring, so to speak, the shortcoming of the current gen version. It is more about us looking, as was previously stated, at the PC and next gen performance rather than current gen. We definitely did not spend enough time looking at that. I wouldn't say that we felt any external or internal pressure to launch on the date other than the normal pressure, which is typical for any release. That's such a generic answer. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. That doesn't really answer your question, but is saying that, quote, there wasn't any additional pressure.
So he's saying that we don't know if it's true, but he's saying that that the company didn't have any additional pressure internally or externally from anyone telling them to release it on that date.
Which is strange given the crunch email that was sent a few months prior. But who knows?
Bro, it's a mess. Like,
so, which is typical
from the shareholders to management, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
So that was not the cause, he says. In terms of the certification process and the third parties, this is definitely on our side, our being CDPR. Mm-hmm. I can only assume that they, Sony, Microsoft, and whoever else they released to, trusted that we were going to fix things upon release, and that obviously did not come together exactly as we planned.
Because y'all said that they would. Remember the day 0 patch? Oh yeah, it's going to come in. It's going to fix everything. Y'all be straight.
Yeah, okay. And there was a day 0 patch.
My biggest beef with that whole thing is that this game was never slated for next gen.
No.
Never.
No.
This was a PS4, Xbox One, PC release. So the PC versions are always going to be better. It's the one that they work on, obviously. And then the console versions are the console versions. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work on the console version.
So regarding that,
it's a PS4 game, bro, not a PS5 game.
Regarding the third question, which touches on that, where we want to go with PlayStation and Xbox, as stated in the statement made public today in the morning, we are planning to get the game in much better shape than it is now, of course. And a lot of that is going to be happening in December. It's been the end of the month.
Yeah, right.
Come January and February, you're going to see larger improvements. Huh?
When was this conversation?
Friday. Previous Friday.
And okay, interesting. Yeah. Carry on.
Come January and February, you're going to see larger improvements, which we've stated already. We have also stated that if your expectation is that the game is going to be equal to, say, next gens or PC in terms of performance, that definitely isn't going to happen. Having said that, I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game, but if your expectations regarding, say, visuals or other performance angles are like this, then we're openly stating that's not going to be the case. It will be a good, playable, stable game without glitches or crashes, though. That is the intention. That investor obviously didn't believe him, because his next question was, okay, that sentence I think is the key one. I don't expect next gen performance on last gen, but I would like to be able to play through the game. As they respond, you will be able to.
Yo,
this happened last week. This conversation happened last week.
This is the investor asking.
This
is the investors versus upper management.
Oh my gosh, that's so bad. That's so bad.
These questions were coming from this is a transcript of the conversation. So the investors was asking
management
about upper management. Yeah,
the investor was like, can we get a playable product? Yeah, it's
still like, yo, we paid for this. Like, what's up, bro? Like, this is trash. Yo, it's so crazy to me. Like, I just can't give this. There's no bone in my body that I can just give it a pass. I just can't do it. Like I know there's some people out there who give this game a pass, and there's some people out there who just trash it. Like, there's both extreme ends of the spectrum. And it's just, I don't know about you two or anyone else who listens to us or who plays games, but this is unprecedented. I've never seen a
very unprecedented on numerous scales.
Like, in the modern era, I've never seen a release like this before.
Oh, me either.
Like,
so, and I'll touch on one last thing after this.
Like, Fallout 76 was a mess. It had a lot of glitches and bugs, but it was still at least playable. Like, you guys played it for hours.
Yeah, I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember having any bugs or glitches. You know, on those Bethesda games,
it crashed definitely, but it wasn't at this scale. No,
those Bethesda games, everybody else ran into crazy bugs and glitches and stuff. I to this day, I can only remember one glitch, just one, and that came from Skyrim. I told you guys this a million times. Yeah. But when you go to that town. Yep. And you do a mission where you have to break out of jail. Up. Huh? Yeah.
Like,
you get locked up.
And now they think you're supposed to be in jail for forever.
Yeah, you get locked up and then you break out. And the game read that as me getting locked up, but I never finished my sentence. So every time I try to go to that town, no matter what, the guards try to attack me.
They screen grab you. Hey,
yeah, and I get attacked off jump, And so, like, I'm banned from that town. I can, whatever missions were there or whatever. There was nothing ever game ending, but it's just like stuff like that where it's like, dang, there's like a whole section of game where I
had
can't
a
play.
game ender
in one town. I've had a game ender in New Vegas. I've had a game ender in Skyrim. I had to start over.
See, that's crazy.
I just have bad luck with that.
I have a game ender in Skyrim also. That was my first big one.
Never but have I ever.
But even still, like, a game ender is obviously the worst thing, right? Like, that's like the worst thing you could ever have happen to you in one of these games.
So you know what Cyberpunk does?
I'm hearing reports in Cyberpunk of like people's save files like.
Yep, I was just about to say.
It's insane.
Wait,
dude.
what happened?
CDPR took it to the next level. So what happens is every time you craft something, obviously it needs to save its space in your save file. If your save file is larger than 8 megabytes, which I'm surprised it's that small in the first place for Cyberpunk, but if it gains a size bigger than 8 megabytes, the data structures start to overwrite essential data structures within the save file, essentially rendering it useless.
Like, it bricks your save file.
So basically, it's kind of sort of overrunning. Let's say when it loads the save file, it loads from the top of the file. Mm-hmm. When you're crafting, you're overriding this top of the file with crafting information, not the loading information that the console needs to utilize the file. So once you save that file, it's in that state. You can't use it again.
Oh, wow.
So people are losing their save data.
That's
gone. So, got to start over.
See, at least with Skyrim, if you have a game ender, sure, you can kind of sort of get around it. Yeah, you may not be the game, but you can still play the game. With this, you've just lost everything off rip. Nothing to do.
Yo, I remember one time Cody was playing. We was on headset. Cody was playing, and that game, I'll give that game props. You save fast. That game saves fast. It's like bloop, done. In the middle of him saving, the game crashed. Sent him back to the. He was like, "Yo, I think I just lost my whole file." Like
I remember, I was there. I was in.
He was there. Yeah, he was like, "Yo, I think I just lost my whole file." It wasn't. He was still good. It wasn't corrupt or nothing like that.
It wasn't the Pokemon days where you save the file and you turn it off and it's over.
Think
about that. That game came out in 96, 97, and we're still seeing data structures like this. Yo, it's wild.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just keep harping on the same thing with the. This is unprecedented, dude.
So the last thing that I want to touch on, because we like to get close to time, was another topic that Key brought up in regards to the game being unfinished. So you would think that there'd be some testing going on, right?
Well, they said there was. Remember? Remember that was the last thing. Oh, we're testing to make sure it works. Mm-hmm. PS4 and PS5 and X, all these consoles. That's what they said.
These questions. It was actually this investor's second question. Do you think that you needed to have more external text? Is it part of the process that everything is done in-house? If you had hired some outsourcers to do more extensive testing, could you have had less of an issue here? And the third question regarding multiplayer. I've heard your answers to the previous question. You rushed that process. The previous question was them asking, are they going to adjust their development structure to try to hurry up and fix all these things? Aside, because they have free DLC and all this other stuff planned later in the years, but they wanted to know if that was going to mess up those plans. Sure, you won't rush that process though. Given what you've been seeing now, should we really be thinking about 2023 as the earliest for the arrival of multiplayer? So, this management person answered the second and third questions. So he stated, "We have an internal quality assurance department, and we're working with external companies as well. One thing that perhaps did not help us is COVID. Internal testers are able to test the game working from home because we would provide them with our own connected machines and so on. But external testers working for external companies were not able to test the game from homes. They have test centers. And obviously, if they're not at the test center, they're not able to test the game. That's
tough.
So we've seen a decrease in the number of testers, but I wouldn't point to it as a major source of problems. The third one about multiplayer, first and foremost, we haven't confirmed any dates yet. As I've said before, it's too hard to judge now. We're in an unanticipated situation and we'll need to reassess."
This is interesting. This guy, this person here is saying,
these are numerous people, but it's not one individual.
Oh, it's numerous.
Let's say it's the team.
Okay.
I feel like,
okay. So I feel like they're not all on the
They're
same
not cohesive.
page. They're like, oh no, that's not what the problem was. No, that's not what the problem. No, I mean that could have been the problem, but no, I don't think that's what the problem was. That's what they're saying to like every question. Like, no, so what was the problem then? Like, what? How?
Right.
Where was the mistake? Like,
you said there was no pressure from y'all.
Okay.
Literally from the investors asking me.
That's what you said.
Did we put too much pressure on? Nah.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Did you have adequate testing? There was like, yeah, but nah.
There was like,
because he was
COVID,
like, we have
kind of messed up our testing, but I don't think that's what the problem was. Oh, okay. So how did you screw this up? Like, like that's not making any sense to me. Something don't. I feel like
management, bro.
It's kind of like they gave them money, so they don't want to speak bad upon them or something. They don't
want to speak bad upon themselves because of what's already out there, and the developers have just free reign. They've been speaking freely post, and rightfully so. So you don't want to. It's the most delicate of balancing acts.
They're trying to be nice to everybody. They're not trying to blame a specific person. They're not trying to blame anybody. They're just trying to answer the questions without directly forcing blame on anybody. I think
except themselves. They've
themselves.
Numerously blamed themselves.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, I guess it's nobody's fault but their own. That's what they want. That's what they want to tell everybody.
That's what it is. That's what it is, man.
And the rest of the questions, like, they were trying to get some numbers. Like, oh, we noticed you had 8 million pre-orders, which I actually found a really interesting split. I think it was 53-47 was the split for pre-orders, PC and console. So it was actually a little closer than I thought it would be.
That's cool.
But they were trying to get answers on how many refunds, what is the refund process. So this
of course they want to know that.
They're not giving out any numbers. None.
Not even to the investors. They don't want nobody.
Not even to the investors. They're not giving out any numbers. So that's indicative of, damn, son, our expectations just weren't up. Man, we did not meet expectations.
Damn, son.
But that's not, I don't know, because I don't think that's it, because it came out that the sales the game made, prior
PC
to the
expectations were met.
Prior to the refunds, the sales that they made up for the cost of the game. What happened after the refunds? I don't know. I don't know how many met. I don't know. Don't know what happened.
Right. That's the
I'm sorry. It was 59-41.
But
still close.
Yeah, that's still really close. I mean, I thought I would have thought. I mean, that's pretty cool though. I would have thought a lot of people would just go straight PC, or it would be more PC than console. Yeah. But it's pretty cool to see it nearly split.
So now keep in mind that split. It's 59-41. That's almost half your sales, and they weren't able to separate those that purchased on PS4 and PS5.
Right.
Because they don't have a PS5 SKU to attach it to PS5 sales. Right. It's just all under quote console.
But I mean,
this one mishap erased all the gains they got this year from their stock.
That's what they said?
No, that's look, it's everywhere. They lost all their gains this year from this game. Every single one. And they've lost years of trust. That's what I think is way more damaging, because yes, this game's going to get pushed back and refunded, and you might not make as many sales, but now we're looking at you under a microscope for anything else that you release for the next X years.
The next couple of releases are definitely going to be under a microscope, because like, even though like this game got delayed and upset about it being delayed, the excitement to play it never went away. You know what I mean? It was always like, we got to wait again. Trash him, talk some trash, but it's like, I still want to play it. I can't wait to play it.
But
now the next one, everyone's gonna have their Sherlock Holmes out trying to see like what's going on behind the scenes, everything. I don't know, man. It's a mess. This whole game is a mess.
Yeah, it is.
So for those of you that haven't purchased it or have purchased it, refund, just wait until February. That's all.
It blew my mind.
This is a clustercluck of just mismanagement, and like you said, Key, earlier, because they had to do this balancing act, because they had to talk internally, and now they had to talk externally with these investors, and let you say one thing to the developers that you say different to the investors, or vice versa. They're going to be in even more trouble than what they already are.
Yo, check this out. So when you go buy a game from Best Buy or GameStop or Walmart, the moment you take it out the plastic sleeve, you can't return it.
That's it.
That's you. Yeah.
Walmart and Best Buy are allowing people to bring the game back and get their money back.
That's wild.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I didn't before this. I didn't even know. I didn't even think about the possibility of being able to return a game via PSN or just when you buy it digitally. I never thought that was even a possibility remotely.
Yeah, keep that in mind. Sony, because everybody was like, wait a minute, Sony's allowing refunds? That was everybody's reaction.
They're super strict. Like Microsoft is a lot less strict, but they're still strict too about like returning digital content, especially after it's been downloaded. Like once you download it, that's like taking the plastic wrapper off. That's it. You know?
Your warranty is void.
Yeah, but literally Sony, Microsoft, Best Buy, Walmart is like, yeah, bro, you can get your money back. This is bad. This is bad. That's crazy, dude. I've never seen that.
I'm still gonna play it though. I'm gonna beat it, and then
I still got mine. I'm still gonna beat it too.
I'm gonna wait until it comes out in the special edition or on like the apology edition and all of that.
The apology edition. You know
I'll
what?
get that.
I think honestly, in my opinion, I think that would be one of the coolest things for them to do because, like I said, they have had a great marketing plan behind this game with all the things that they worked out and contracts that they worked out behind the scenes in preparation for this game to come out. So I think they're really smart as far as marketing goes. I mean, they got as hype as all hell for this game to come out. So I think it would be so cool, so dope, and even reinvigorate, some flames in some people if they came out with an apology edition.
You like that?
So cool.
That would be so cool. See, now you got me on the end. You know what? I'm about City PR apology edition.
Everybody has like the special editions.
$29.99, all the DLC, multiplayer. Give me the whole bit.
No, scratch that price reduction. That's actually one of the points they made. We don't plan on reducing the price even though we release it. So there goes that.
Dope. Like that's a dope moment.
That's a straight dope moment. But yeah, I planned on playing it through at least 2 of the walkthroughs. So we'll see.
Oh man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. I like the game, but I just don't like the pile of crap that's on top of it. So I haven't played it since my last night of crashes. I'm all set. I'll wait for it to come out later with all the patches and the game works the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I will wait till then. But I think it's time for the throwback of the week.
Is it? Is it?
I think it might be.
This might be.
It's time for everybody's favorite segment of the show, and that, of course, is B's Throwback of the Week.
So, moving right along. Are you doing the X-Men from the 90s? All right.
Yeah, let's turn this off. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
We're ready.
Okay. So, I wanted to get something nice and old, like properly old. Yeah, this is like a proper old title. It was developed by Argonaut Software and Nintendo. This is from 1993. This is Star Fox.
I was 4.
The original Star Fox.
Star Fox 64?
No.
Star Fox.
Or Super Firecom. Or Super Nintendo.
Who played that? Because
it played the same.
Ain't nobody here played that. Reese, put your hand down. You ain't played that.
I definitely played Star Fox.
It's like playing Super Mario Bros. It came out before I was born when I played it. I played Duck Hunt.
I played Super Mario. Super Mario. I played Mario. Oh my gosh. Stop saying Mario. I played Star Fox 64, where the first level you was on like, I'll call it like a paradise island or something. I don't know. And then the second
Corneria.
Corneria.
Yeah. And then the second level was like a desert level, a desert map or something like that.
Once you split from Corneria, you had a choice of where to go. So.
And then that's all I remember of Star Fox 64. That's my only experience.
So you never played
anything
Star Fox SDS?
Nah.
Oh,
Star
you won't
Fox
like
64.
It. Not one bit. You won't like it.
I remember at the beginning, you're like in the back of the.
It does, but you know,
you're in the back of the thing. You're in the back of the thing, and it's like going through all the cinematics or whatever like that, and then it's like, and then you fly out the tube or whatever the ejector thing that you're in your spaceship.
The ejector thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Ejectocito. But so Star Fox released in '93. It's considered a rail shooter game. Of course, this was the first time we get to see the whole Lilac Fox, Falco and Slippy and his whole team. And this is the first game. This is where they all come from. So if you play Smash Brothers and you play Fox and Falco and you've never played the old Star games, this is where they come from.
You're doing yourself an injustice.
Yeah, it's an aerial combat game. But literally, like, it's a third-person shooter. You know, it's a third-person aerial shooter. Super fun. I just remember me and my brothers used to play these games for hours, man. Like, we weren't good at first, right? It took a long time for us to get good at these games. So, like, I never beat it. I never beat the original Star Fox. I beat 64. Well. I beat the 64 version, but that was later after I got better at playing video games, got a little older, you know what I mean? But back then, like, I was like pretty garbage. I used to watch my oldest brother play this, and then my other brother play this, and then I got better. But yeah, man, these games were fun. Like, I'm not a big aerial combat guy. Like, I don't like ace combat, stuff like that. Like the first person aviation. That's Reese's world. But Star Fox, I rocked with it. Like, I enjoyed these games. Like, they were really fun. This was the first game ever to use the Super FX graphics acceleration processor or whatever. This was the first game to ever use it. They called it the Mario chip.
The Mario chip.
Yeah, and it was the first game to ever use it.
They called the Mario chip and use it on Star Fox. What is happening here?
The Mario chip won because you don't want to test it.
Test it on Mario, man. Like, it's called the Mario. It should have been called. I feel like they did my man Star Fox dirty. They did him dirty.
Why? It was a good game.
No, okay, but they used him as a test dummy, and he didn't even get the name of the chip. Like, they didn't name the chip.
Okay,
he was number one. That
part's a little greasy. Yeah,
he was first.
That is definitely greasy.
Star Fox dirty. Why they do him like that?
You didn't even play the game. Stop.
Fox.
As a matter of fact, the Super FX chip was never used on a Mario.
Super FX.
The Super FX 2 chip was used for Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, which is a fire game.
Was sick.
Fire game.
I tell you one thing, Yoshi's Island is the best map in Super Mario Double Dash.
But yes, Star Fox in US and it was actually called Star Wing in the PAL countries. I never knew that.
Star Wing.
Never knew that.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I brought that up because one of our viewers, Star Drew, that was like the first thing he put in the chat was like the FX graphic was sick. And yeah, it was the first time that you'd ever anything like that. Like, it looked like one of those PC games that you would see like, oh snap, it's fully rendered and like not fully rendered, but it's mostly in 3D and you can ship around. Like, there hadn't really been a lot of games like that. Like, everything was mostly 2D side scrolling or top down, like Zelda and Mario. Like, that was pretty much everything you got was like that. So this was the first thing where you had full control, like, of the entire screen with your character. It was really cool. I'm always excited about new concepts and stuff like that. Like, even if the game might not fit my style, like, I'm not a huge aerial combat guy, but I love these games. They're a part of my childhood. They're a part of my upbringing. I love games. The Star Fox series is fire.
Yeah, man. See, back in those days when you could do like those crazy technological advancements like Super FX and Mode 7 and the introduction to the third dimension in your next generation consoles. Like, we don't have that type of like fascination anymore. It doesn't, because we're so high up now. There's so little left that we can do.
The only thing you can do now is just give us better, more realistic graphics until you're at the point where you're just hiring real people to be controlled by your.
I mean,
it's not wrong, though.
He's not wrong. That's
as far as we can go now. Like, we done did 3D. We're just making the graphics better, and that's it.
So by the time we get to PlayStation,
what, 9 probably? Like, yeah.
Wait, you remember that PS9 commercial?
The PS9 commercial.
You just inhaled the nano machines.
Yo, the little orb. Yes, made of nano machines. So like,
here we go. If I have to hear about this.
Yo, as soon as I'm telling you, everybody go look up. Listen, go to your computer, your mobile device.
No. I got y'all even better. I'm gonna put it in the Discord.
Yes, hit up the Discord. If you want to find our Discord, go to our Instagram. That's the best place to find it. Go to our Instagram account and look in our at Trigger Talk TV, and there's a link in our bio. And you'll find a link to a bunch of where you can find our podcast and everything, but also the link to the Discord. And then you can see the amazing Mind you, we saw the PS9 commercial. What was that? PS2? We saw that commercial?
Yeah, that was at least 20 years ago.
That was a PS2.
The PS2
commercial.
Yeah.
Like, and they were showing you their innovation.
The PS9. You had the robot come out with that.
That was CGI,
orb.
Bro.
Yo, I'm telling you, when we get that orb, that's when real people are just going to be in the game. Like, they're just going to be in the game. And then after they don't want us playing as people no more, they're just going to put us in. Like, yo, you want to put you in the game. Go in.
We are the game.
Just go in.
Ready Player One. Did you guys ever see that movie, Ready Player One?
I wanted to. I saw.
It's on my watch list.
I saw Gamer. Do you ever see Gamer?
I saw Gamer. I think we saw Gamer together.
Did we?
It's on my watch list.
With Gerard Butler?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. That was like...
long.
That was...
That's when he was.
Last thing on Star Fox, I actually wanted to mention this a long time ago, but I forgot and then just remembered. The unreleased Star Fox 2 is available to play on the Switch SNES emulator. Previously unreleased prior to the Super Nintendo Classics release, because that's where it first got put out. Because before that, somebody ran into the ROM file, was like, yo, what's this? Then they hacked it together and made it playable. But now this is the actual game.
That was a thing. That was like a whole controversy thing, right? That happened a long time ago. Star Fox 2.
It was a real game.
It's in those games, and they're all free, right? In that emulator, you don't have to buy any of those games.
As long as you pay for Nintendo Switch Online, you get access to the emulators and the games.
Yeah, that's dope. That's I like that. That's cool.
And the super cool thing is you can have 6 people in your Nintendo family. So you can, like, if you have a family plan, you have 6 people, just get all that stuff for free. It's super sick.
But if you want to play games together to talk to them, you probably got to call them or something, because there's no onboard,
because
communication.
The Switch's party system is
why are you making that?
I mean, non-existent. You have to use your companion app on your phone.
Your non-existent party system.
It's so bad.
Y'all are trying to.
No, but Reese, it's so bad that I can't talk to you and play Star Fox 2. Like,
well, you can. Sucks. They do have a mobile app in which you can.
The mobile companion app.
Yeah, the mobile companion app. You can.
But I still can't put a headset on and hear the game, but also talk to my friends. I can't do that.
No.
I mean, you can, but it's super roundabout. I'm never gonna bother with
see what I'm saying?
Honestly, though,
yes.
At least they let you. At least they let you input your own like screen name that you want, and then if we wanted to add you, I just give you my screen name. And no, you have to have a friend code. There's no point to the screen name. I forgot. You have to put in a 12-digit social security number in order to add a friend on the Switch. I forgot. Never mind. Take that point back. Might be. Never. It's
you can add
did that intentionally
from just the name. No.
Nope.
Because I got a bunch of friend requests from people who I never gave.
Your friend code is out there somewhere.
I don't think so. Stop. I don't think so.
But
we won't know. I have it added in front of my Switch in a dog. So
you have to give them your SW 7 12 12 13 9 9 4 3 2.
Oh, you remember that from the days of Sword and Shield?
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh my God. That the Sword and Shield.
That was a good time.
Joining random parties was You had to just keep on trying to put in the password. Keep on. Yo, I gotta add it. Yo, and it's always delete me afterwards. This is my friend code. Yo, my goodness, it was such a mess.
Yeah. So bad, dude.
Such a mess.
I think there's a limitation on all of them. Like, what's the
look? So now you won't always have to deal with the friend code. March 13, 20. I'm March like, I know 13, you can add friends without
2019 or 2020?
2018.
2018. What did it say? Now you don't have to deal with friend code.
You don't have to. In the same ad menu, the Switch operating system lets you pick from friends that already had on mobile games. Or if I played a game with you, I can just add
that you already had on mobile games.
What up?
You said a friend that
you said something about mobile games?
On mobile games?
On like, so let's say we were friends on the 3DS or something like that. I don't have to add you.
Yeah. And if you don't, okay.
Oh, it's the same thing that PlayStation. Oh, people you've played with, and they'll have a list of like people. Yeah, and you just add them from there. Yeah,
but it had to be on the previous console or something.
What's up?
No, because every iteration of man, this has been a mess.
So if I play, I used to play Super Smash Brothers a lot. If I was to play somebody on Super Smash,
you can just add them. You don't have to have the friend code.
I can just add them.
Yeah, you don't have. Yep.
You don't have to do no.
All right. I'll believe it till I do it. I'm gonna have to get the receipts myself on that. But that sounded like big hats. Big hats.
When do you plan on doing that?
I'll test it tonight because I'm that type. That sound like big hats.
That sound like big hats. So,
but yes,
Nintendo and violence.
Nintendo and violence. I am not mad at his opinion. It's not what I thought his opinion was going to be, but since he's not like judgmental on the fact, then Nintendo and violence, the way what is his name, Momoto.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Him. His thoughts on it are cool with me.
Yeah,
I'm cool with it also.
I'm all day with that dude.
And then
he's a super kind.
Copy GranBlue.
I like
GranBlue Relink. I don't think. Wait, I don't know why I said I don't think. I do think.
Yeah, I'll go
that's a possible. That's something I'm gonna keep my eye on. I just want to see how they go about like the whole friend thing and what type of game is it gonna be? Because they didn't. It is an RPG, but they didn't say if it's gonna be gacha because it's really giving me Genshin vibes. So they just need to specify: is it just gonna be a straight up co-op, like straight out Borderlands type, Diablo type, like I can play with my friends RPG, or are you giving me gacha? So that's something I am extremely interested in, but I need to keep my eye on it because I want to know what they're doing with it specifically.
Yeah, same. I'm in the exact same boat. Like I like what I'm seeing.
You like what you're seeing,
but what's up? I don't know. I don't know what's up with the loadout. Can I play with my friends? I don't know. Is it straight gacha? I don't know. So
yeah,
I'll definitely keep my ears to the ground on that. Fun.
Yeah.
You, Reese?
He gets it. I got it. So it's whatever.
Yo, get out of my okay. Anyways.
Oh my god.
And to the star of the show.
They drama. I hope they get whatever worked out because it's a whole lot of drama.
This is
man. Just holler at me.
You love drama.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. In terms of Cyberpunk, I see y'all when y'all fix it. I want my refund. What's up with The Witcher 4, bro?
Wait, so you do still trust them?
Huh?
So you do still trust them?
What do you mean? I said, what's up with it? I want to see it. Like, what's up? Like I'm moved on from Cyberpunk. Like, it's just more and more drama. Let me see what else y'all got.
That's interesting. Okay.
See what else y'all got going on. But again, like I said earlier, I'm gonna keep a microscope.
Yeah, you're gonna be looking at it. Right. I follow you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. And Reese?
I'm gonna play through all three stories. So.
Oh, you invested.
So I might do this one on the PS5, and when the PS5 version comes out, or if the PC version is improved, I do it there too. But this isn't in what's the word I'm looking for? This isn't me admonishing them for, everything that they've done. You're going to be responsible for what you did and why you didn't, this, that, and the other. But let's not take away from the fact that this was a wildly ambitious game and the developers have done some amazing things, and we should not let that get overwritten by all the crap that's happened.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the devs, man, for trying to do something special, and the management and investors not giving.
Yeah.
The only pass I'll give to the upper management is that they are allowing those devs to get the yearly bonus, irregardless, in the dictionary now, of the reviews that it garners from Metacritic.
Yes.
So they're getting paid out whether the game gets a 9 or a 1. And that's what I want to hear.
That's good. Shout out to them.
Because the base console version's got a 4 again, but the PC version got a 9.
And that's going to do it for our episode. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And a special, super special thank you to, dude, like, you guys are insane. I wanted to throw my chair, but that would have been a little too crazy and quite a bit loud. But I really appreciate, like, we really, like, y'all are crazy. I love you guys. I love all of y'all. Like, it's really appreciative. Really, really love you guys. It's insane.
Had it been Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, we probably
pull my Christmas tree down one time for you.
Yeah.
Don't give them any ideas. Now they're gonna do it, and then we're gonna have to be violent. We don't want to do that.
We don't want to upset. We don't want to upset Miyamoto.
But with that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us. This has been another episode of Trigger Talk TV.
Trigger Talk TV.
Trigger Talk TV.